take this game very seriously. So I think everybody in the UK loves the cup competitions because every year there are surprises. And we don't want to be one of the surprises or the bad surprises in that way. So, of course, I'm going to look at that. If there are young players pushing for positions and they are training well last weeks, last months, and they deserve experience, I will do it like I did in all the clubs in the past. But I'm not going to exaggerate that also. It's not just to put a totally different starting 11 or something. It doesn't work.
Philippe, how excited are you at the potential in Siala, especially when you add him to Egerman and Jeffy?
I don't like to point out players too much. I said it also in my press conference. I'm very happy what he did in these 3 games and how he worked, how he's hungry from the day he stepped into the building. It's now also confirming this and to stay with 2 feet on the ground. I have the feeling he does, but I'm going to keep a big eye on that. And the one thing that's always really dangerous is that when they come with a lot of articles in the newspaper and they think they're better than they are for the moment. So, no, I'm happy that people start to see the fruits that have been planted in the summer. And there was a lot of criticism about that. Why Egerman from Morocco, why Clinton Asiala, who played youth teams, why Jefte, who don't have the experience at this level and they're that young. Why to do that? That people start to see the first parts of them growing up and they have potential to still grow a lot and they have to also. So that's a positive thing, and that's also the positive thing about the plan we all had together to get this club to the level that this club wants to be without spending a lot of money. And not buying the success, but developing success. So it's a very positive thing that the guys making good steps.
See if you could get to the end of this season, which has been tough, and win the Scottish Cup, as well as developing these young players. Would you see that as a successful season?
I'm not thinking about that now. I'm thinking about the next game, and the next game, and afterwards the next game. Let's keep these questions for the end of the season. And first, create a culture that it's about winning every game. I don't want that my players only think about the cup now and don't think about the league games. So it's about every game wanting to win and creating this culture in all the minds and all the bodies from players and staff.
Can I ask about Yanis Hadji as well? He's established himself now as a key player in the team. Would you now like him to be here for a long-term project? Is that possible, or is it not possible because of his contract situation?
He will be end of contract at the end of the season. So there will be negotiations around that, if it's possible or not. I don't have a clue what numbers that Yanis has in mind, or the club. So that's discussions between them. Of course, I'm happy what he's been performing. I knew him already from before. There was the situation before the season that was out of my hands, and I'm happy that with discussions in the club, that everybody was willing from his side and from the club side to put water in the wine, to come together and find a solution for that, and it's been beneficial for the team clearly.
Can I ask, you said there you want to create a culture about winning every game. Is that you almost saying that that's missing at the moment? There isn't a culture of having to win every game or wanting to win every game?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that the players don't want, but to do it in a lot of clubs in the world, it's not the case. This is a special club, and you have a few of those in the world, but not so much, where it has to be always. So that's something new for some players, yes, and for some staff members also, this every 3-day story in that way, but it's an exciting story also. And if you can get to that level, you get also a really big reward. So yeah, it's about so many details. It's not about going on the pitch and wanting to win the game. It's about every detail, how much you sleep, what you eat, what's your diet, what supplements you take, how you work in training, what you do afterwards, how you rest in the afternoon, how you live your life. So there's a lot of things that you need to be top. And then afterwards you also need to win against all these opponents who are super hungry to beat you. So that's also for some players new. So that's creating this culture. And it's about also being in the experience to really live it. And then you see also the players who will thrive out of that and who will have the really hunger to become better and better and better. And that's what you need in a club like this.
How far away do you think you are from having that culture?
Yeah. That's the same thing as with the signings. Huh? Is it tomorrow, or is it in 1 month, or in 3 months, or in 6 months? Nobody can say that. Nobody can predict. I wish I had this crystal ball. My life would be much easier, and I could have explained maybe much better things in June towards everybody. You don't have this crystal ball. You don't have the crystal ball also about all the circumstances like injuries or suspensions or penalties or not, or a ball against the post that goes inside or outside. That's football. That's also the interesting thing. But what's important in that sense is that you see the evolution in the team and what the team is doing and what individual players are doing. And of course there are players falling with an injury out. John Suter in 1 year made a really huge evolution. We lost him now. We felt that also, that we lost him. In our stability in the defense, you need to find other solutions again. Because of that, Clinton Nasiala get chances to prove himself at this level. So that's another step. So it's impossible to make predictions in time. But it's clear they showed it against Celtic in this Old Firm game and in the League Cup, that on the day we can compete. It's about creating to compete every 3 days and to do that every 3 days, mentally, physically, tactically, and create this culture in this group. And to make this group also better. Our opponents will also go on the transfer market to make their squad better. So that's another aspect in that field.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.